talk about the Utah Jazz and how they're faring in the FIBA World Cup.
That sounds great.
You talk some while I drink some.
Excellent. Well, my good friend Jordan Clarkson had the game that we'd all hope to see Jordan Clarkson play every single time he's on the court. You know, he had 34 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists in the game against China, scored 20 points in the final 5 minutes, including 5 straight three-pointers.
5 consecutive three-pointers. That is insane.
That's hot. Craig Bowler-Jack refers to him as the flamethrower, and that is the reason. Yeah, I mean, this Philippines team has really struggled in this tournament so far. Jordan Clarkson's the only NBA player on the team, so they really look for him to kind of lead that team. They hadn't won a game in this tournament yet. So, you know, he really stepped up. He led the way. You know, you could tell that he had some motivation to make sure this team left this tournament with at least one win by obviously this excellent showing.
Excellent showing. Yeah, absolutely. Interesting stat that I'd like to bring up when it comes to this is player rankings. And this is according to Fansided. You have Clarkson, who is averaging 26 points per game, shooting 41%. And he is number 2 when it comes to top scoring players, NBA players in the league. And number 3, you got Larry Markkinen, who's averaging 25 points per game, shooting 50% from the field. I am rounding up. Yes, it is 24.8. Yes, I'm just rounding up. Thank you. That's actually third behind only one other player is Luka, who is finishing ahead of those two at 26.4 points per game.
That's kind of crazy, especially since the highest performing player is Luka Doncic, who's one of the most talented basketball players on the planet.
Yeah, I always thought it was funny. I didn't bring it up. We should have brought it up, but there was a lot of talk about before this tournament started about how Luka's in shape. We got in shape Luka. I was like, oh, he's getting ready for the league. He's getting ready for the NBA. I'm like, no, he's getting ready for the tournament. He's getting ready for this tournament.
Yeah, this means something to these guys.
Yeah, it's very similar to the World Baseball Classic. A lot of these players that are on these teams will take greater pride in winning this tournament than they would winning an NBA title.
Oh, yeah.
You know, don't think that they don't want to win a title in the NBA, but they definitely are prioritizing this tournament a lot more than you would think. So let's go ahead and talk about Simone Vontecchio, shall we?
This dude has been absolutely tearing it up in this tournament so far, man.
Yeah, averaging 18 points per game, shooting 43% from the field. His team has better talent than Markkinen or Clarkson has. So I think that actually makes this a little bit more impressive.
Yeah, this Italy team's like, they've actually got some really talented players on it. And he's done a really good job playmaking and going out of his way to make sure other players are scoring. He's really impressive, man. I just, you know, it's crazy because you see him at the end of the Jazz bench and he hasn't got a ton of minutes, but with the way that he's performing in this tournament, I mean, it really makes you hope that obviously all of the Jazz coaching staff are watching and, you know, he might get some extended minutes and a chance to show all these things he can do and take it and, you know, help the Jazz out with once this regular season gets started.
He's shooting well. He's playing really good defense.
Really, really tough defense, man.
Which I was very impressed to see. I didn't think he had that in him.
It's just surprising because, I mean, I didn't think he had those kind of handles and just playmaking game. I've watched quite a few highlights on Simone and I mean, he makes some great passes. He makes some great reads up and down the floor. He moves really well. Like you said, his defense is actually a lot better than I expected it to be. He is turning out to be a very impressive player. And I mean, this is the kind of stuff you like to see. This is where Lauri Markkinen kind of shined last year. You know, hopefully Simone's taking advantage and he keeps getting the opportunity to put some minutes in and impress this Jazz coaching staff.
So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about players left. So let's go ahead and first talk about our boy Kelly Olynyk for Canada. What are your thoughts on Kelly Olynyk and how well he's performing out there?
You know, kind of like I'd mentioned before, man, Kelly Olynyk is a really, really good playmaker that just continues to kind of wow me. I don't think I realized that he passes and sees the floor as good as he really does. He makes some crazy good passes. He's always got his eyes up the court, you know, to make passes to get easy buckets. His defense has actually looked pretty good for Kelly Olynyk. I've been very impressive. And this Canada team looks super tough.
Yeah, they had a big win over Spain, who was the defending champion, to secure a spot in the quarterfinals. Play of Olynyk now, he logged only about 19 minutes in that game, scored 6 points, had 2 rebounds. Not exactly his best performance, but still, I would say that he definitely contributed to keep them from being knocked. Yeah. Olynyk is definitely the intangibles, the stuff you don't see on the stat sheet type guy.
Yep, absolutely. And he's a big glue guy. I mean, he's been with this team a really long time. He's watched a lot of these young Canadian players come up from high school and, you know, all of these lower ranked teams. And he's kind of been there to kind of mentor him and take him up into this tournament and show him like, hey, we've got some really talented basketball players in Canada.
Good luck to Canada in the semifinals. So let's move on to Italy with Simone Vontecchio. I just think what Vontecchio's been able to do, currently he's averaging 18.4 points per game in 5 games of action so far.
So Simone Vontecchio.
2 hours later.
Simone
Another one.
Vontecchio has
First draft.
a fantastic game. He's the leading scorer for Italy. He has 18 points in that game as well. So, but unfortunately, with that loss, Italy's eliminated from the tournament.
All right, let's talk about Walker Kessler and Team USA. I know they did lose a game against Lithuania. They lost 110 to 104. He only played 6 minutes against Lithuania, scored 2 points. But I think Steve Kerr's playing too much of the small ball game. I'm honestly kind of quite disappointed about how little Kessler's being used in this tournament so far. We're not getting the experience for our big guy that I was expecting to get out of this tournament this year.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's getting a ton of playing experience, but, like I mentioned in a previous episode, make sure you check that one out. Walker Kessler's getting a ton of experience with very talented NBA players. Day in, day out, he's building relationships. He's seeing how these guys practice, what they're doing to get better every day. He's getting valuable experience in another way. May not be on the court like obviously we'd like to see. I mean, there's a lot of really good players on this USA team. They're going to continue to win. They're continuing to get better. You always look forward to any time there's USA basketball players on the floor.
So congrats to the 4 teams that are left. I believe we have USA versus
Germany and Serbia versus Canada. So we will get to see Kelly Olynyk against a pretty talented Serbia team.
Again, congrats to the 4 teams that are made to the semifinals. I'm just hoping for a safe return of all Utah Jazz players back to the team healthy.
Yep.
So.